Who am I? Just a little bit about myself so that I can introduce what I do, and you decide whether you want to listen to me or not. This is an infographic that our marketing team put together, so let me go through it from left to right up. Our group, the Raimar Group, is an investment and management company. Investment and management going together, which means we invest in businesses that we manage ourselves. I don't invest in businesses that are managed by others, because in that case I might as well put my money in the stock market or and buy LBC stocks, right? So we have a group of companies, and the three playgrounds are basically shipping, logistics, and trading. Those are the three. And through the years, I've been in the business 30 years. I started when I was 5 years old. And still, some people still listening. So there's an intersection between these three playing fields, and those are actually the most interesting areas, as we'll talk about later. We have approximately 20 subsidiaries involved in warehouse, travel, insurance, trucking, crewing, forwarding, etc. 2,500 crew on board. We have 578 employees. We have a maritime training center where we train about 8,000 people a year. We manage 71 vessels for our principal K-line. We manage 140 trucks with 425 chassis. We are small, not very large warehouse operator. We have about 24,000 square meters, 2.5 hectares. We delivered 31,000 CBUs. This is something important. I'm proud of this because that's approximately 10% of all the cars sold in 1 year in the Philippines. 31,900 CBUs are completely built units. So the cars, total net worth, net sales about 1.4 billion. 895 tons of air freight, like small in air. 30,000 trucking trips a year, 10,000 passengers a year, and about 575,000 metric tons of cargo, and about 135,000 TEUs that runs through our business in the year. So as you can see, we're not the biggest. We're not a DHL. We're not a big multinational that probably handles a lot more than this. But it's a 360-degree view of what business is about. We handle all kinds of business in all parts of the business. So maybe that's what I can bring to the table today. Firstly, just to put us all on the same page, what is logistics? I know a lot of people here are going to roll their eyes, the logistics guys especially. So basically, the traditional thing is good logistics ensures that the right type of service or product is delivered in the correct time, place, and condition expected. Everybody knows that. Okay? That's traditional logistics. However, 25 years ago, when I was younger, I met, I forget his name now, he was the logistics head of Matsushita Corporation here in the Philippines, Panasonic, National Panasonic. They have a lot of factories all over the country. And he mentioned to me that in their mind, okay, logistics is everything else outside the actual manufacture of a product or the rendering of a service. Think about that a little bit. Logistics is everything else outside the actual manufacture of a product or the rendering of a service. And that actually provided, over the last 25, 30 years, that insight that I can do almost anything for a customer. A manufacturer focuses on his core, just like our friend was Dustin or Rick. Okay? They focus on their core, and if they have that mindset that everything outside that manufacturing that one product, whether it be the sourcing of the product, the sourcing of the raw material, the management of that raw material, the packing after the finished product is done, everything can be considered logistics. And is potential business for the logistics companies around here. 4 things that I'll be talking about very quickly. Globalization 2.0, the global supply chain, rise and shine Philippines, and leveling up. Okay. What is globalization 2.0? Basically, everybody knows what globalization is. We've experienced it. We're all wearing, orange shoes, cell phones made in China, watches made in Switzerland. globalization has affected most of us. But over the next years, what will be happening is the second, third, and fourth tiered cities, as Constantine mentioned, are going to start experiencing this globalization. We're looking at the rise of the cities like Baguio, Lawag, Cabanatuan, Santa Rosa, take your pick. They're all over the country. And of course, this is my list, but you can actually have your own, probably know. These cities will have opportunities in infrastructure logistics. Okay? Roads and airports are going to be built. Roads, airports, and ports. We have buildings and housing, and everything that deals with the logistics for building buildings and building housing. Okay? By the way, we have a customer in the Cavite Export Processing Zone. Rick probably knows this company, which is a Japanese company, very quiet here, nobody knows it in the Philippines, but they are the biggest exporter by far in terms of containers. They export about 90,000 containers a year to Japan. And they export housing components, doors, stairwells, window jambs, everything to do for a prefab house. Okay. For the housing companies in Japan, those companies, they rely on logistics to build their houses, because the logistics basically is all transporting all those products from the Philippines to Japan, and they just assemble it there. So there's going to be a lot of potential for buildings and housing in these second-tier cities. Food chain facilities, cold storage plants, and everything that has to do with handling food in the proper way, getting it, the perishable logistics will be very important as well. Distribution and storage, especially for the e-commerce companies that are looking to penetrate the second-tier cities, are going to be very important. Constantine mentioned that one of his biggest problems is the high cost of air freight, as well as the lack of capacity of air freight. Those are challenges that we need to look at and see how can we deliver to those second, third, fourth tier cities at a cheaper cost. Given the fact that the Philippines has unique challenges, we have 7,107 challenges, okay, compared to countries like Myanmar or China or even Indonesia and Thailand, which have very large landmass and make deliveries much cheaper. And of course, there's motorization. We're all aware of motorization. I'll talk a little bit more about this very exciting area. So basically, people will be buying cars, people will be having a lot of bus networks, etc. And these are the opportunities. The second, after globalization 2.0, is the global supply chain. I'm sure everybody understands a little bit about the global supply chain. There was something that was told to me recently by the Philippine Export Promotions Board that really drove this point home. They said, if I asked you to guess whether the Philippines is a net importer or exporter of salmon, fresh salmon, what would you say? What would be the most common sense thing that would come into your mind? A net importer, right? But in fact, especially in value, the Philippines is a net exporter of salmon. And that's amazing because we don't have salmon in the Philippines. And that is because we have some trade deals with New Zealand and Australia, where companies import salmon, fresh salmon into the Philippines, process these, okay, and re-export them all over the world. And because of that, the value added from the Philippines is much higher. We are a net exporter of salmon to the country. Now that drove home the point to me that really, using logistics, we have a lot of value that we can add. And that we need to tap into this global supply chain. You have to be part of that global supply chain so that you can benefit from all of this great commerce that is happening all over the world. So I put here two examples. First of all, there refers to the network created among different worldwide companies, producing, handling, and distributing specific goods or products. I'll mention, we'll talk about this, and I'll tell you two examples of why this is so important. Firstly, On the right side, you see suppliers of the new Toyota. Can't see that, but basically, those are different companies located everywhere around the ASEAN and Asian countries, even in North America. And these products are distributed to the source, to where the car assemblers are located. So most of the car companies are really not manufacturers. They're screwdriver operations. They're assemblers. Okay? And it is a logistics. It basically is a logistics. Toyota, Honda, Ford, they're basically logistics companies in this country because it's all about logistics, bringing those products in and then assembling, doing minor assembly work here. There is an example here also for the 787, Boeing 787, where products are made. You can see that from Canada, from the EU, from Japan, from Korea, from the United States, and these products are all shipped, okay, and brought to their plant in Seattle, where they're put together and they have their. So being part of that global supply chain is so important.